Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday. The weekend is here.
Apparently so.
The sun is out.
The sun is
Weather
out.
is great.
Speaking of sun, Little Miss Sunshine. It's a play. The musical is being put on this weekend, and our own Little Miss Sunshine, Michael Bruno, will be here. There he is, going backstage with Jim. Yes. And Lola.
And Lola. We'll have Lola's lowdown in just a little while.
But first, here's what's making news on this Friday. Heavy rains caused problems in the area, including in Jefferson County, where 4 people had to be rescued from flooded cars.
There will be no military parade for President Trump. We'll tell you why he called the whole thing off.
And Madison radio station WORT is trying to get back to normal weeks after a gunman shot staff members in the middle of the night.
Let's take a look outside this afternoon. Boy, the day started off wet, heavy rain overnight and this morning, and now it's a beautiful day.
And this bull doesn't seem to mind one bit. Drying out, the weather words. Gary Canalti is in the backyard. A lot of rain.
Yeah, more so in some areas, especially from about Sun Prairie eastward toward Watertown. That was the area that got hardest hit. This time, southwestern Wisconsin had the least amount of rain. But you can see on visible cloud track, there's still some clouds and a couple of showers and thunderstorms to our north. Notice that hazy, milky white image moving through Minnesota and into northwestern Wisconsin. That is smoke from wildfires well out to the west in Canada and in the northwestern part of the country. And some of that smoke will get pulled across the Midwest during this weekend. Now, as we take a look at rain totals so far, they were pretty heavy. Watertown picked up 8.6 inches of rain. Many locations between northern Rock County, eastern Dane County, and into Jefferson County picked up 4 to 5 inches of rain. 48-hour precipitation estimates. Very little rain fell in northeastern Wisconsin, and most of the heavier rain, especially last night, was in that 6 to 8 inch area from northeastern Dane County through northern Jefferson and far southern Dodge County. But on Doppler track, things right now starting to wind down. There still are a couple of showers and thunderstorms, mainly north and west of the Wisconsin River, but those will die down pretty quickly overnight. Low temperatures this morning started out in the 60s with the rain and the showers and thunderstorms. Current temperatures are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s, starting to get some sunshine, and that will started to warm things up. But the dew point temperatures are still pretty high, upper 60s to the lower 70s, so it is pretty steamy out here. Otherwise, look for temperatures to gradually fall into the lower 60s by early tomorrow morning, and then we'll look for high temperatures tomorrow to top out somewhere in the lower 80s with mostly sunny skies. For some reason, my clicker, there we go, there's the forecast first. Let's go ahead and check out first alert traffic. Right now, there's the view on the Beltline over at Park Street. You can see traffic picking up. It's a Friday. Beltline starting to get a little heavier. Some slowdowns in the eastbound direction, beginning around Monona Drive, going back to near Todd Drive. Westbound, we're seeing some delays in and around Fish Hatchery Road over to Park Street. On the interstate south and east of Madison, they're in pretty good shape. A little slowdown northbound on I-3990 in the construction zone between Janesville and Beloit. However, if you are traveling through parts of Jefferson County, be aware that there are some road closures, some local county roads closed because of high water. And then north and west of Madison, again, the major interstates in pretty good shape. Another slowdown on I-3990, 94 northbound heading out of Dane County into the southern portion of Columbia County. Otherwise, pretty good travel on the rest of the interstates. That's your first alert traffic.
A lot of people heading north for the weekend. All right, Gary, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. First at 4, that heavy rain that Gary was just talking about earlier today caused some big problems throughout the area.
Yeah, roads are closed in the Marshall area, and in Jefferson County, some people had to be rescued from their flooded cars. Jamie Perez is live in Watertown now with details. Jamie?
Well, as Gary Canalti just mentioned, Watertown was one of the most affected areas. You can take a look around me and you can see for yourself. They actually had to rescue 3 vehicles and 4 people from the cars that were submerged here in this area just a bit earlier. Now, the fire department tells me that no one was injured and no one was transported to the hospital, so that's good news. But residents tell me they woke up to about 7.5 to 8 inches of rain this morning. Some residents even saying the water started to flood into their basements. Cars around town were trudging through some of those flooded areas, slowing down traffic, trying not to get stuck in the floodwaters themselves. People around town say they weren't really expecting it to be this bad. One resident even told me it gave him some exciting Friday plans.
It gave me plans today.
It did?
I wasn't doing anything today, so I got to come check out the water, enjoy some water in Watertown, and,
Pretty fitting.
Yep.
Residents say it rained for about 14 hours here overnight and into this morning. The Watertown Unified School District even saying that due to the extreme amount of floodwaters, they've canceled their game tonight against Beaver Dam and are rescheduling it for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Now, the impacts from the flood didn't seem to affect too much activity in this area, but obviously I was not prepared for the floods today. I was walking around in this area barefoot, but I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get the coverage, right? We'll hear from residents coming up tonight at 5 and 6. For now, back to you in studio.
Got to do what you got to do. You're right. Jamie Perez live in Watertown for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. A 20-year-old woman died in a crash on the interstate just outside Madison this morning. She was in a car being driven by a 24-year-old man who lost control in the southbound lane at Highway 151 and hit a median barrier. A pickup truck then hit their car, spinning it in the path of a truck. The driver of the car was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The other two drivers involved were not injured.
There will be no verdict in the Paul Manafort trial, at least until Monday. The jury in the fraud trial of the former Trump campaign chair sent the judge a note asking to go home a half hour early. Their note to the judge came shortly after that he revealed that he's been receiving threats during the course of the proceedings. Judge T.S. Ellis did not disclose details about the threats, but he said it was enough to make him wary of making the 12 jurors and 4 alternatives' names public.
President Trump says a military parade that has been planned for mid-November is now canceled. Nicole Killian has details from the White House.
President Donald Trump announced he's canceling plans for a military parade in November, tweeting, "The local politicians who run Washington, D.C. poorly know a windfall when they see it. When asked to give us a price for holding a great celebratory military parade, they wanted a number so ridiculously high that I canceled it." D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser tweeted back saying the city's cost would run about $21 million. That's less than a third of the $92 million price tag from the Pentagon. Instead, the president says he'll attend a parade at a military base located near Washington, D.C., and another one in France in November. President Trump first spoke of his interest in having a military parade while visiting Paris for Bastille Day last year.
We're going to have to try and top it.
Some lawmakers on Capitol Hill expressed opposition to the parade, as did some veterans groups. The American Legion is against the parade, saying now is not the time.
It's our military tradition to do parades at the conclusion of conflicts. You know, we saw it at the end of the Gulf War, we saw it at the end of World War II. Our main concern was the timing, the cost, and then, if you have the VAs underfunded right now, we ought to put the money towards that.
The White House pushed back when asked about the American Legion's criticism.
I think we should focus on the president's record for the military and the veterans. He's been the most pro-military, most pro-veteran president in modern time.
Thank you very much.
President Trump says the military parade could take place next year. In Washington, Nicole Killian for WISC News 3.
Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser also responded to claims that her government wanted too much money to host the parade, citing the city's history of hosting major events. Bowser added, "We can execute these events even under the toughest of circumstances."
More than a dozen former U.S. intelligence officials have signed a letter condemning the Trump administration for revoking John Brennan's security clearance. Trump has defended his decision.
I've gotten tremendous response from having done that because security clearances are very important to me.
The president didn't deny the decision was made because he views Brennan as one of the people who helped bring about the special counsel investigation of the Trump campaign's possible collusion with Russia.
It's a disgusting thing, frankly. Look, I say it again. That whole situation is a rigged witch hunt.
You can agree or disagree with what John has done since he retired, but we all agree that he has the right to say it.
More than a dozen former national security officials penned a letter criticizing the president for his decision, calling it inappropriate and deeply regrettable. The White House says it is reviewing the clearances of other former intelligence officials tied to the investigation. A Madison radio station is working to get back to normal after a shooting at the beginning of the month left one person injured.
Those at WART say they're still feeling the impact of what happened. Our Madeline O'Neill tells us how the station is recovering. Maddie?
Two of the three overnight hosts who were there when a gunman opened fire are back on the airwaves. Police say it was a targeted attack against a specific person just after 3 a.m. Sunday, August 5th, that left a 33-year-old man with a minor injury. According to the station, witnesses believe 5 shots were fired, damaging the glass between studios. While the window is now fixed and the injured man was quickly discharged from the hospital, WART's board president says one of the hosts there at the time has chosen not to continue his show.
It takes a while to deal with the trauma of that happening. Having to be running from a gunman inside the station and not knowing how to get away from him.
The station is working on tightening security and has had more volunteers there during overnight shows. Police are asking for your help in finding the suspect. According to WART, it was a man wearing a mask and a hood. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014.
Madeline O'Neill for us live in the News Center. Thank you.
The 85th Bucky on Parade statue has been revealed. Crazy Legs Bucky was unveiled at the UW-Madison Police Department this morning. He joins 84 other 6-foot-tall Bucky Badger statues that are scattered around the Madison area, all reflecting various themes. The statues will be on display through September 12th, and then most of them will be auctioned off at a finale party September 29th or in an online silent auction. That's a good one. I like the back of it is really cool too.
Crazy
pictures
Legs.
of Elroy Hirsch.
Getting his Bucky. Well, giving wedding gowns new life. We'll find out about that as Live at 4 continues. Well, wedding bells will ring tomorrow for nearly 30,000 couples in the U.S.
The wedding planning site The Knot says August 18th is the most popular day this year to get married.
Why is that?
Because it's 8-18-18.
Ah.
Oh, that's
Good luck.
catchy. Yeah, nearly 4 million guests are expected to attend the nuptials. It's estimated they'll spend $1 billion on gifts and attire.
And you know, this whole week has been a palindrome.
Yeah, that's right.
The numbers are the same forward and backward.
That's right,
The whole
yeah.
week. So get
Lucky.
married.
Good luck.
China today announced it'll hold a fresh round of trade talks with the United States later this month. That was welcome news on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials up 110 points, ending the week at 25,669. The Nasdaq Composite Index and the S&P 500 both gained 9. Well, she's a sewing artist that uses her skills to help grieving families cope.
A Cottage Grove woman with a talent that has allowed many families to have a beautiful goodbye to their loved ones.
She let our Jamie Perez into her workspace to share how she's helped dozens of families deal with loss through a needle and thread.
So this is the beginning.
There's something beautiful about life and death. Life through the sun-split trees, it propels us. But death and what comes after is what propels Annie Shep.
See how they're forming? I'll never get to see my daughter go to prom, her wedding. Well, I can make that happen in a sense.
Annie makes it so death isn't the end.
I look at a gown and I think of what I can use from it.
She makes what are called angel gowns.
I use the strangest tools. Depends on how big of a pleat I want. I go like that, down, so.
For those who have lost,
And there were some that were miscarriages, or babies born in stillbirth.
made from donated wedding gowns,
Wedding gowns donated to me almost immediately.
turned into burial outfits for those whose life ended too soon.
This is what I do.
But this is a product of her own loss.
Pamela wanted me to sew, so that's what I'm doing.
Pam is Annie's daughter.
Her time went too soon.
Pam died of a sudden brain aneurysm on July 15th, 2011.
7 years for me, and some days it feels just like yesterday.
This is how she's able to cope so many years later.
This is her wedding dress. This is Pamela. But she had a beautiful smile.
With more than 100 gowns made to this date, every stitch and sew, this is Annie's new love to honor Pam's memory.
I'm thinking of my daughter.
It could be a miscarriage, stillbirth, sudden infant death syndrome. That's what led Betty to Annie.
I can't thank them enough for the gift that they had shared with us. It truly meant everything, and it was one of the most difficult things that we've ever experienced. And they just made it that much better knowing that we weren't alone.
Betty's granddaughter Victoria died of SIDS 2 years ago. She was buried in this gown. Today is the 2-year anniversary of her death.
It meant everything because, I'm sorry, because she is an angel now. And the gown was absolutely beautiful. And knowing that maybe when she crossed over, maybe her daughter recognized her gown and she'll hold my baby for me now.
A thought that propels Annie back to this.
I just come down here to reflect. I feel this is my happy spot, even though it's also my grieving spot.
To be an angel forever starts with love.
Start pulling the pearls off of there.
With fabric and a sewing needle. And ends with something beautiful.
This is the outside.
In Cottage Grove, Jamie Perez, WISC.
If you'd like to know more about Annie's free public service, you can contact her on her Facebook page. Just search Pamela's Wish from Heaven.
It's all free.
Oh, so beautiful.
It really is. Well, if you have a newer car, you probably open it with a key fob, and you probably think, yeah, it's a pretty secure way to lock your car.
Well, think again, because some bad guys have come up with ways to beat the technology. We'll find out how after Gary's First Alert Weekend Forecast.
Take a look at this. An 18-year-old Russian man solved 6 Rubik's Cubes underwater in one breath with the aim of setting a new world record. He was underwater for 1 minute, 44 seconds, and 25 split seconds. The current record was set by a man in New Jersey, but this attempt surpassed the old one. The man says he's been preparing for the underwater challenge for 6 months and trained several hours a day. Just doing 6 Rubik's Cubes alone.
It's always incredible. I don't know how they do that.
Just holding your breath underwater.
I know, that's right, yeah. And add them all together. Congratulations. It is Friday, August 17th. It's National Nonprofits Day. Listen to this. In Dane County alone, there are 6,754 registered nonprofits taking in $5 billion a year.
This is a generous community.
And mark this one down. It's National Number 2 Pencil Day. So we'll mark it right here.
Make a note of that.
Okay, they're all
there we
done
go.
there.
And it is National I Love My Feet Day.
Who doesn't love their feet? We don't take care of them enough, do we?
I guess not.
All right, we have a little correction to make here.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, we were full of it. We described the animal in our weather video as a bull. See, I looked at this and I didn't see any udder or anything. But apparently I'm wrong.
That's a
Jerry?
cow.
Jerry?
Viewers
Oh,
have
there
told
it
us
is. Okay, well, see, we didn't keep the video on long enough.
There you go. That's right.
There's the reveal.
Our viewers on Facebook promptly alerted us.
This is far too much information that our viewers need to know.
You don't make that mistake in America's Dairyland.
That's true. That's very true.
Our apologies to the
Says
young...
the city boy, Gary.
The young lady in the weather video.
Well, we do have a couple of showers and thunderstorms out there, but not in the area that got all the heavy rain. And now it looks like things will start to improve for the weekend. I'll have our first alert forecast in a few minutes. We were expecting showers and thunderstorms last night. We're not expecting the extreme amounts of rain that fell over a very small area of northeastern Dane County through northern Jefferson and southern Dodge County. Here's some of the pictures out of Watertown. You can see about 8 to 10 feet of water in downtown Watertown, or just to the south of downtown, because of the heavy amounts of rain. In some areas, maybe over 8 inches of rain fell. In fact, one of the official reports just south of Watertown, 8.6 inches of rain. We can see Waterloo, 5.5 inches. Milton in northeastern Rock County, a little less than 5.5 inches. Deerfield in eastern Dane County, 4.5 inches, just about 4.5 inches in Broadhead. And Milford, just shy of 4 inches. If you take a look at the 48-hour precipitation estimate, all the rain fell in the southern part of the state. The northern part, pretty much free of rain, especially up toward the Green Bay area. But while everybody got rain, there were pockets of heavier rain. The lighter green shading, those are areas that picked up about a half inch or less of rain. When you start getting into the darker blues, you're around an inch, and then you start getting in the reds, and it's well over 2 inches. And it's this area that clearly shows up from just east of Watertown to just northeast of Madison, where copious amounts of rain. These are some of the rainfall estimates, anywhere in the 5 to 6 inch range, basically from just north of I-94 in the eastern portions of Dane County to around Sun Prairie, and then eastward into Watertown and the far southern portions of Dodge County. But notice that area is free of precipitation right now. We'll widen out the radar view. There are a couple of showers and thunderstorms up to the north and west, and even those have been weakening pretty rapidly over the last hour or so. And most of the activity will be gone as we head into say the latter part of the evening. So again, those precipitation estimates very high. There is still a flood warning, an aerial flood warning for extreme southern Dodge County, northern Jefferson County until 12:15 tomorrow afternoon. That's just for aerial flood. The water standing around, not so much the rivers, and some of that water still has to make it into some of the rivers and streams around there. Visible cloud track shows the clouds starting to thin out. We're getting some sunshine. Those showers and thunderstorms to the north and west, actually on the northern edge of this weather system. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, now showing some sunshine here. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature so far, 82, low temperature at 66, so we're above the averages of 80 and 59. And right now, we're at our high for the day of 82. Winds are out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour, but that dew point temperature is still high at 69 degrees. As we look at current temperatures, again, a little warmer in the northern part of the state. They've had the sunshine, 87 right now in Marshfield, while it's 82 in Madison. To the west, we're also seeing some 80s starting to show up. The dew point temperature is still pretty high in the 60s and 70s, but notice farther to the north, some 50s across northern Minnesota. That's the dry area that'll gradually work its way southward. Now, there also is a fair amount of smoke from the wildfires out west that'll also be pulled to the south and east by the upper level winds, which are now starting to pick up in speed across the northern portion of the United States. And notice upstream, there's not much going on here, so we'll see a couple of dry days of weather for the weekend, which is good news for those people who've seen far too much rain. There's a weak cold front to the north, but hot weather still continues across the western Dakotas into Montana. We're seeing temperatures right now in the triple digits, again, over eastern portions of Montana. Elsewhere, temperatures mainly in the 80s, but those dew point temperatures, again, 60s and 70s from here southward, a little lower dew points to the north. The air not quite as humid. So 62 for the overnight low temperature, just a chance for an evening shower or thunderstorm, then partly cloudy and mild overnight with some patchy fog. Tomorrow's high temperature 81 under partly sunny skies, so a warm day and probably a little less humid as well. On future track, you can see any lingering showers and storms moving out tonight. Low temperatures middle 60s. For tomorrow, high temperatures will top out in the lower 80s. Then for tomorrow night, look for skies to be mostly clear with some patchy fog developing. Low temperatures upper 50s to lower 60s. And then on Sunday, high temperatures will be in the middle 80s. Again, a dry day expected on Sunday. But as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll notice those temperatures drop a little bit as we have another chance of rain from Monday to Tuesday. Showers and thunderstorms Monday, some rain showers on Tuesday, and then temperatures warm back up once we get a little more sunshine toward the end of next week. We're back to the middle 80s by Saturday of next weekend. But notice another long dry period. So we'll get some rain Monday and Tuesday, but we'll have 4 or 5 days of dry weather before the next chance of rain moves in on Sunday.
When it rains, it pours.
In some areas, it really poured.
Yeah.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. New technology has helped lower the rate of stolen cars and auto break-ins over the past decade.
But now some criminals have figured out how to beat the technology and get into your car. Hannah Dova explains.
Like millions of Americans, Eric Ellis uses a key fob to unlock his car. The device only works within a close range. But on this surveillance video, you can see 2 people walk into Ellis's driveway and unlock his vehicle without the fob. One of them tries to open up other cars, but it doesn't work.
I look and everything from the glove box is sitting in the passenger seat. So that's when I knew that somebody had been in there.
Turns out the thieves only got away with some workout gear from Ellis's car, but police are seeing more cases where thieves open vehicles without a key. Roger Morris with the National Insurance Crime Bureau says in some cases, criminals are using an amplifying device like this one. If a fob is inside the home, the amplifier can grab the signal, send it to another device, and open the doors. To prevent it, you can keep your fob inside a metal box, aluminum foil, or a Faraday bag, a pouch designed to protect electronics from signal interference.
If you can block the signal, if you can block the radio frequency of the device communicating to the vehicle, then you could stop the effectiveness of these.
But crooks have also figured out how to steal a fob signal while you're using it. This recreation shows a driver getting out of his car and using the fob to lock it. Morris, in the blue jacket, uses a relay box to intercept the fob's code. The code is then immediately sent to a second man with a small box that now acts as the vehicle's fob, allowing him to unlock the car, open the door, start the car, and drive away.
Cars are basically computers on wheels, and anything that can defeat the computer system of a car is a very popular item among car thieves and hackers.
Morris says automakers are aware of this hacking technology and are working on improvements to stop it. Anna Doba, CBS News, New York.
So I have to wrap my fob in aluminum foil
inside
my house?
And wear a hat, a tinfoil hat.
Okay, good to know. No, actually, it's scary, isn't it?
It is scary.
I mean,
it
really is.
Just be aware of people around you. I mean, if somebody's standing there with a box with the thing.
Right, good information.
All right, the new movie Crazy Rich Asians is getting a lot of attention.
When we come back, we'll find out what the buzz is all about. That's when Live at 4 continues. Live look at the UW Memorial.
Oh, a few people down there on the terrace.
Great Friday afternoon. That's the place to be in Madison on a summer Friday. The new movie, Crazy Rich Asians, is getting a lot of attention. It's not often a romantic comedy breaks ground in Hollywood.
But that's one reason fans have been eagerly awaiting the new movie that's now playing.
David Daniels sat down with the cast of Crazy Rich Asians.
Rich, we've been dating for over a year now, and I think it's about time people met my beautiful girlfriend.
Take a bags and get you checked into first class.
Can't afford this. So your family is rich?
We're comfortable.
That is exactly what a super rich person would say.
An Asian American woman meets Singapore high society in Crazy Rich Asians.
The Nick you're dating is Nick Young?
Yeah, you guys know them or something?
Hells yeah. They're just the biggest developers in all of Singapore.
The rom-com is based on Kevin Kwan's best-selling novel.
I read the book soon after it first came out. My sister said, you've got to read this book. It's called Crazy Rich Asians. And I was instantly a bit suspicious of the title, but I gave it a go and I absolutely loved it.
My wife and I, we read the book when the first book when it first came out, and we're like, this is begging to be made into a movie.
Shooting in Singapore and Malaysia meant a lot to the cast.
Singapore becomes a character in the movie. You go on this journey to this exotic, beautiful metropolis that is Singapore.
And for me, you know, as an Asian American, whenever Asian Americans go to Asia, there is a more personal journey that also happens too. So it makes it just mean a lot more. And a lot of us were there together, you know, experiencing this amazing country, and it was unforgettable.
Also important to the cast, it's the first contemporary U.S. studio film in 25 years with an all-Asian ensemble.
I don't think this movie is about representation. I think it's about love, but I think this movie is representation. The fact that we made it and that we said that our stories have value.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And Crazy Rich Asians is now playing.
We'll find out what our film critic Will Loper thinks of it Monday here on Live at 4.
Speaking of movies, the blockbuster movie Little Miss Sunshine is now a musical, and it'll hit the Play Circle Theater at the Memorial Union starting tonight.
Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Music Theater of Madison's production of Little Miss Sunshine when Live at 4 continues.
In First Floor Traffic, it's a Friday, but actually not a bad Friday on the roads, at least around the Madison and Dane County area. This is the live view from the DOT traffic camera at Park Street, and there it goes, updates again. Traffic is heavy, but it is moving steadily in both directions. We're not seeing too many in the way of slowdowns as far as well, for some reason we went past that, but we are looking at some delays, at least on the eastbound belt line out toward Monona Drive, and then westbound, just a couple of delays around Fish Hatchery Road. That is your First Floor Traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. A Kansas man's tomato garden is getting a lot of attention. That's because several of his plants are 10 feet tall. By comparison, the average tomato plant ranges from 3 to 4 feet. The man is not saying how he got the plants to grow so tall, but he says he's been gardening almost all his life. He's never seen anything like this. The current world record for the tallest tomato plant, guess, 65 feet.
I guess 10 feet when you ask me that.
65 feet for a tomato plant. That's a lot of tomato. All right, Little Miss Sunshine started out as a movie. I get this when Bruno's around here. It started out with a movie, an $8 million budget. It grossed more than $100 million and won 2 Academy Awards in 2006.
A few years later, it was retooled into a stage show with the Music Theater of Madison staging it this month. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine is based on the Academy Award-winning film from 2006, and it's a story about a pretty dysfunctional family. It's sort of on the brink of disaster, like a lot of William Finn's shows. And they end up taking Olive, who is 8 years old, from New Mexico to California for a beauty pageant that she really wants to be part of. And on the way there, they get in this VW bus from the 1970s, and the bus breaks down, and then all kinds of other chaos ensues. And then once they get to the pageant, Olive surprises everybody with what she's got for them.
She's a quirky little girl, and she spends a lot of time with her grandpa, and I think she looks up to her grandpa a lot, and she's having troubles with mean girls at her school who are bullying her, and she's having trouble like staying in her zone where she's not like sad all the time, so she's more like trying to fight the mean girls, like not fighting them, but like trying to keep them out of her head.
But she really wants to win, doesn't she?
Yes.
So what kind of talent do you have to do as Olive?
You gotta be a singer and a dancer, and it's kind of weird.
Cheryl is the mom in the Hoover family, and she's very dedicated to her family, and she works really hard at her job and also at being a mom.
And I'm going to ask you the big question. What's it like working with children?
The girls have been amazing. They have been amazing. It's, you know, they're off and on. They're not on the whole time, so it's kind of, you know, to get on and have to be 0 to 60 right away, like they have to do pretty much at multiple times in the show, is really challenging, and they've been doing a great job with that.
For me, what's iconic about it is not, you know, the Greg Kinnear role and not the actual person, but how much of how connected and how relatable he is to most fathers and most people struggling to make it in modern society. So that to me is what's iconic about it. That's what is so universal, is how much I identify with that character.
In the end, guess who wins, right?
No.
You don't win? You don't get to, like, you put them in their place and be Little Miss Sunshine the winner?
To her family, she wins, but not in the pageant.
That is the way of the
Little Little Miss Sunshine.
After all that, she doesn't even get to win.
She seemed resigned to that fact.
Well, it has to follow the movie. It does follow the movie exactly. It's the exact same book and the script. It just, the music is all new from William Finn, who did falsettos and the Putnam 34th annual Putnam Spelling Bee.
Yeah.
So it's all that kind. It's all his music, and James Lapine directed and wrote the book of the music.
How old is Abigail, who plays Olive?
I couldn't tell you how old she. I would say maybe 10.
Wow, that's a big role. That's impressive.
Yeah, and we did get to the other mean girls. There's also a cast of girls that actually that are really mean to her. It was really fun. They were some really, really talented people in this. Wow. And it's all local actors. It's all Madison area actors. And
it's very intimate. The play circle is about 125 people.
Yes, it's a very intimate little, and they have a full band orchestra around the corner. So it's Musical Theater Madison puts on really quirky shows that you probably would never have any other company do. And Megan does a great job with bringing those to Madison. Finds really great talent too.
Oh, it's great.
Is Little Miss Sunshine, the Memorial Union Play Circle, tonight through August 25th. On the weekends, for tickets, go to artsticketing.wisc.edu. They're selling the tickets through the Union box office. So we're seeing, and you're off for a couple weeks.
I'm going to take a little week vacation.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the end of summer.
I will enjoy the end of summer.
See you after Labor Day.
Thanks, Michael.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Hopefully it'll dry out a little bit.
Yeah, just a couple of showers and thunderstorms out there right now, and those are starting to diminish pretty quickly. Temperatures right now in the upper 70s to the lower 80s, but the dew point temperatures are pretty high. Look for some areas of fog overnight, but tomorrow a partly sunny day with high temperatures in the lower 80s and less humidity. That's good news.
Oh, nice weekend. Yeah. All right, coming up Monday here on Live at 4. You're feeling stressed out? Turns out donkeys are the perfect beast to help you unburden.
Tune in for that, and our film critic Will Loper will tell us what he thinks of the new movie Crazy Rich Asians. That's Monday on Live at 4. as we come to the end of another week, it's time to cleanse the news palette, as it were.
And the best way to do that is to check in with Lola and Louie for this week's edition of The Lowdown. This week on The Lowdown, some pups save a wedding.
It's a donkey of a different color.
And a corgi and a kitten.
But first, once a cub, always a little cub. These Asiatic lions are having a ball at the London Zoo. At one point, Asiatic lions were almost extinct, found only in one small area of India. Through conservation methods and controlled breeding, there are now more than 600 of them thriving in the wild, while the London Zoo is working with officials in India to help further grow the species and have fun at the same time.
Speaking of rare animals, a zoo in Cairo wanted to add to its zebra herd. They couldn't find one, so they painted a donkey to look like a zebra. Zoogoers got suspicious when they noticed the stripes seemed a bit smudged, and the animal had, well, donkey ears. The zoo insists the animal is a real zebra. Forget a wolf in sheep's clothing, this is a case of a donkey in zebra stripes.
Here's the old best man and groom losing the wedding rings prank. Enter Buster in the tux and Bella in the lavender dress. They stroll down the aisle in England with rings attached to their backs. Only the officiant and the groom's son, who brought the dogs to the church, were in on the prank, which ended happily ever after.
And finally, a corgi.